All right, the watch list video for August 2nd should be a Tuesday. A SPY still chopping around in this range. It's coming on like 3 weeks now. We're just playing the individual names, and it's working pretty well. It's been a fantastic summer so far. So here's the list that I've got for tomorrow. CNO down pretty big, couple days kind of chopping around and then down big again. Took out recent support, but it's come a long way to get there. This one actually goes, and remember, I'm a day trader. I'm just looking for a 1 day or intraday trade tomorrow, and so that's how I populate my list. This is a possible bounce play, CNO. It's come a long way to get to those June lows, and a lot of times you get a snapback bounce. So we'll be looking for an intraday setup in that one. KOOL gapped up today, so it caught my attention because it's a recent high flyer, recent low float high flyer, gapped up right into the 200-day and never gave an entry. Goes back on watch for tomorrow. EBIO, this is a really strong stock back here last week and now a couple days lower. Might need to come in another day, and it may never bounce at all, so keep that in mind. Anything can happen, but I think it's time to start watching this for a turn back up because it's been so strong. All right, so we got a couple red days. It's time to start watching. ERJ, this goes into that category kind of like CNO, just down big for a couple days in a row now. Looking for a possible bounce tomorrow as an intraday trade. I don't look at this chart and think it's a bullish chart. All right, just looking for some day trades. HTBX. HTBX long. It had a pop here and then a long consolidation. Another pop which took it through a buck, pulled back, and then a long consolidation again, and then nice volume today. Looking for a follow through tomorrow. If this gets maybe back through $1, it might retest and maybe take out this $1.20. So something seems to be up with this one. It definitely goes on watch for tomorrow. CSIQ. Now this one ran because TSL, I think, announced they're going private or a buyout or something, and TSL just took off on that. Somebody in the chat room typed, I think, a 50% premium to where it was trading as far as the buyout price. I'm not positive. Always check the news when you hear me babble about something like that because I'm more of a chart player, but I do want to know kind of what's moving a stock. So when TSL moved, some of these other solars moved in sympathy. And CSIQ had a nice volume spike today because of it. Gave back a lot of that intraday pop. But you know what? It's in an area of nice support here between 14 and 15. So it's had long consolidation there. This one might get a follow-through pop tomorrow. All right, so that one goes on watch. TOPS. This was my big trade of the day today. I was on StockTwits back when this was below 4 or around 4, I think. Saying that this might be the low float runner of the day. And my reasons were it had earnings, its float was under 1 million, and it had nice pre-market volume, and then take today's candle out of it. Couple that with the fact that this had a really nice pop about a week ago and then was rolling over into earnings. So sellers pretty confident right here, right? Then they wake up this morning and this thing's gapping up here. With that float, this had a lot of possibilities. Now, I didn't make a call once the market opened. I mean, because it just took off and ran. I was lucky enough to be selling because I bought in the pre-market. I told the chat room members that if this breaks 420 in the pre-market, it might break out. So that was kind of my, it's not an official call. It's not something that I almost never call anything in pre-market. I almost never trade anything in pre-market, but I did nibble below 420 in that area. And then when the market opened, it just took off. And it's kind of nice because generally there's a certain setup I want to see on gap plays before I'll get involved. And, none of them involve chasing this as it's ripping, right? That's too dangerous. So I got a little bit lucky on it, but it held up so well that it goes back on watch for a potential red to green possible follow through tomorrow, all right? And in that same light, with that being a shipper, you have another shipper here, SINO, another extremely low float stock that had a really nice intraday move. We had one trade in this one today. I made a few hundred in it on that trade. It goes back on watch for tomorrow, especially if TOPS continues. I'll be looking to get long this one again. If you go to 5-minute candles, it had the initial pop and really just flagging ever since then. So back maybe through $1.60. If TOPS is running, makes this SINO pretty interesting too. DELT. Zoom in a little bit here, but you can see that this had a nice pop back here, a nice pop here. Sellers came in and a nice pop today. I never got involved in this. Well, that's not true. I tried a couple intraday, tried a flag break right here. It had a nice pop, but I never got involved out of the gate, I should say, because this thing just never made it easy, right? There wasn't much volume. It's just slowly climbing. Then volume comes in, and now it's run for 3 candles, so I couldn't chase it. So I waited for this flag break right about there and got involved, and it just didn't follow through. I ended up with basically a flat trade on it. I might have made a couple of bucks, and then you can see it failed. But I still want to watch that one because it's such a low float stock and it makes such big intraday moves. It's just going to be on a chart. Not too confident that I'll find a trade in it tomorrow, but still. BNSO. Massive pop back here from $1.14 all the way to $3.25. That's going all the way back to last November, and then it did next to nothing for a long time. And then you had a pop about a week ago, and then a gap up, and it failed, and then starting to get volume again. Actually, the biggest volume it's had in months was today. So it gave back some of its gains, but maybe a red to green in that one tomorrow. Low float stock, certainly worth watching. And then lastly, I have SPU, which made this crazy move, then came down, then had a huge bounce. And then looked like it was going to roll over again, right? If you take today's candle out of it, it looks like, okay, now it's finally put in a lower high. It's going to tank, and it held up pretty well. So it just means I put it on my watch list. I like the way this thing held up, so I think it's worth having on watch, all right? We'll be looking for gappers in the pre-market in addition to these stocks. Hopefully we'll find some, get a nice trade, and I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.